It was always funny to me when they were like, yeah, Frankie, go out there and sing that street shit. And then he goes out there and just sings in like the highest pitch voice ever about like love and like like everything. I'm like, what? Like multiple
You'll
times
have a different version of street.
Like, that is...
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so today today was Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Yes, it was. As always, I am DB. 3 women each claim to be the widow of 1950s doo-wop singer Frankie Lyman, claiming legal rights to his estate.
Okay.
So very broad one.
Yeah, super broad, like pretty much the title almost, you know. But
yeah.
I guess as usual, we'll kind of start off with things we liked about this one.
Yes.
I guess I'll kick this one off.
Yep.
I like the overall like premise and like mode of storytelling for this one.
Yeah, I do
like
too.
I like how we kind of start in like this you know, with the 3 women and kind of like their court case, but then we kind of slowly go back and kind of get each of their stories. And they're also like each kind of like an unreliable narrator where like you don't necessarily know if their version of events are true, and you get those like you get some like stories that overlap a bit. Like there was the scene with like the pool and I don't remember which 2 girls there were, but like you get like the 2 very different
Zola
versions of that story.
Zola and Mickey.
Mickey, okay, yeah. But yeah, I just overall like the premise and like how the storytelling came about in this one. Just very like interesting and just kind of different.
Yeah, I said that too. Sometimes I really like an unreliable narrator, and it's very fun when the narrator's unreliable, but you also get someone else, like 2 different unreliable narrators, so you get like little overlaps of the story where you're like, this part might be true because they both said something like that, but this part's probably not true, but it was so good in that way. I also, one of the things, this might also have to do with the unreliable narrator, but I just like Zola's character. And the fact that she had, like, the shady marriages and divorces. And the scene where, in the courtroom, she's saying that she was married to this one guy and they got divorced in Mexico. And and then the judge was like, okay, so do you have your certificate? She's like, oh, man, it got, like, destroyed, absolutely. Yeah. Well, can we talk to your lawyer? Oh, but he got his foot amputated. He got both his feet chopped off, and the judge is like, so you mean to tell me that you got divorced, and you're saying you got divorced, but you have no papers to back this up, and the lawyer who was in charge of this is, like, stuck in the hospital with 2 amputated feet, so he can't come in and testify. And she's like, that's right. Yeah. I just, that was just so funny to me.
Yeah. And the next thing I had the, like, music and dancing in this one. Yeah, I thought it was, I thought, like, the music, of course, was good, but I also enjoyed how, like, we got, like, another snapshot into, like, this time period of music and, like, got to see, like, some familiar faces we've kind of already seen, but, like, see how, like, Frankie Lyman kind of fits into that kind of scene. So, yeah, I just really liked, like, that aspect of it. And, like, getting to see, like, him and, like, Little Richard, kind of, like, how they interact with each other. Yeah, overall, like, the music was just, like, really good in this one. And the dancing, too. I don't know if I said that before, but I also like the dancing and, like, especially it was, like, just indicative of that, like, time period.
Mm-hmm. The next thing I have was I thought this film did a good job of showing how Frankie used both Elizabeth and Zola to different effect, so that you kind of could see the similarities between the 2 women and how they were both, I guess, victims of Frankie and his addiction, basically. Mm-hmm. And how he was just kind of like a completely different person for both of them, but also still kind of like the same jackass guy. Like, they both got hints of having him be this big global superstar, but then they also got to feel the effects of him being addicted to heroin, I think it was.
Yeah.
The drug he was addicted to is actually not the important part of my point. But yeah, I just like that you can kind of see the similarities between Frankie and how he treated both Elizabeth and Zola. And it made the reveal that he was like this completely different person with the school teacher that much more like... You could really feel what they felt when they said, that doesn't sound like Frankie. Reading poetry? What? No.
Yeah.
I really like that juxtaposition.
Yeah, I definitely like that aspect too. How you kind of like got like the different kind of eras of his life almost. You kind of got like Zola around like the time where he was like really young and like actually like still kind of a star, and then you have I think Mickey kind of in the middle where he's like really at like almost like at his lowest, it seemed, you know, like really not being able to make hits, like, you know, the music's not a thing. Like I think his drug addiction was probably at the worst at that point. But then yes, like you do see like the school teacher where he's like, I don't know, like I guess a little more grounded and like I don't know, just kind of like fully understanding where he's at, and then I guess he kind of like relapses and goes back with like Zola. But I do like how you kind of get like the different faces of him, you know, and like told through the lens of each of the different characters. I don't think I had anything else. So did you have anything else?
The last thing I said was I just liked when Mickey and Zola found common ground during the breaks in the trial. Like when they were smoking together during the lunch break. I just thought that was and when they got together to make their own backdoor deal. I just thought those were like really good moments of them kind of seeing the bigger picture of how they were both victims of Frankie, and they should really stick together because this industry tends to screw over their artists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely like that aspect too. I guess kind of getting into negatives. I wish we had a little bit more of that. At least the
wait, of which part?
I mean, like the girls bonding out in the courtroom.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing. Like it seemed like so much of this movie was told through flashbacks, which was good. But I would have liked to see more of like the girls kind of coming together and like I don't know, more like because they did have that little plan to like split it and everything. And even when that kind of fell through, I almost like the impact of that thing falling through and like her kind of snaking the other two. Like I almost didn't even feel it because I didn't feel like I had enough of like the three of them together.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see a little bit more of like those like courtroom scenes that kind of like tie together all their stories a little bit more for me.
Yeah, I definitely felt that. The one of the things that I have was the school teacher. I felt as though she was the least developed of the wives, and it almost felt that she was tacked on. Maybe because she got Frankie when he was doing so much better. Maybe that's why. I don't know, but it just felt like she didn't get as much development as the others. She was just seen as this pious saint who had a couple of bachelor degrees and was so kind and giving, whereas the other women, they kind of let you see more of their flaws and how they were selfish at times, and they were kind of ready to get a little dirty, whereas the school teacher kind of just stayed like prim, proper, clean. So she wasn't as interesting, and they definitely didn't delve in deep enough to her. I almost would have preferred if it was just Mickey and Zola just fighting it out for the estate.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. Like it definitely did seem like the focus was more on the first two, and yeah, she did. Almost
and I get it
like
because they were there for longer, but
yeah. Let's see what else I had. Let's see. I guess the other thing I didn't find a lot of it that interesting. I guess maybe I thought it'd be more interesting, or like I think part of it is like I thought there'd be more overlap in the flashbacks. You know, like when you read the description of like, oh, he was married to 3 different people. They all think they have a claim on the estate. Like that. While that definitely was the movie. In terms of the flashbacks, like each of their stories were like pretty disjoint, you know, and like there wasn't like aside from that like one pool scene where Zora and Mickey kind of interact with each, like there wasn't a lot of overlap. So I felt like I don't know, like a lot of the flashbacks weren't like I just wanted a little more drama, I think. And, like most of the drama was just kind of internal between Frankie and whoever he was with at the time, which I think that drama definitely was good, but yeah, I just would have liked to see more in between the girls, I think. And because like I don't think the movie was necessarily like of course like it was about him and like his life and everything, but it was told through the lens of like the women. So like I almost feel like I didn't get a lot of him. Like didn't like you of course get to, like kind of like his highs and lows and like the more extremes, but like I didn't feel like I had like a full like it didn't feel like a full like biography of him or anything. So I feel it might just be like a personal thing, but I would have liked a little more like overlap between their stories, because it did almost just feel like I was watching like 3 separate stories until they all kind of sort of came together a little bit at the end. But yeah, that might just be like more of a personal preference than like any like huge slight on this one.
No, I get what you mean, because what's interesting about this is in the beginning when they first say that each of them is the real Frankie Linus? What is his last name?
Lemon. I actually don't
Lyman.
I keep saying it differently.
Oh my gosh. When they each were claiming that they were Frankie's real widow, they kind of, when they were describing the time period there was a lot of overlap, but we don't actually see the overlap. So I definitely get what you mean, where it should have had more drama, because there were definite times that when they were describing, oh, I was with him from this period to this period, and I was with him from this period to this period, there was overlap in those 2 dates that they gave us. So I think there should have been more drama as well. This is one of the last ones I have, and I don't know if this is a nitpick or not, but the court scenes didn't flow well when they had to take a break. Because they would say, oh, do you need time for a quick recess? And then they would say, okay, recess. And then, like, you blink and you're back in court still. Maybe I'm just used to watching other procedural dramas or something like that, or like How to Get Away with Murder, where if they say we're going to take a quick recess, you see them leave the court and then come back. This is definitely a nitpick, I think. But whenever they did that, I was like, then why did we say it? Because we didn't leave. We just stayed here. And I can't even remember if they changed outfits at all. But it just felt as though it never made... There never was actually a break when they said, we're going to take a quick recess. So it almost made no sense to me to mention it. Like, why are you saying we're going to take a quick recess when we don't ever leave?
Yeah. Like, even the day-to-day breaks, like, I think, like, each girl pretty much got, like, a separate day to kind of tell their story. Like, even those breaks were quick. And I guess that was kind of, like, another point I had that, it was, like, kind of mixed in with the other two. But I thought, like, the ratio of, like, flashbacks to, like, present day was a little off. Like, again, we just spent so much time in flashbacks that, like I just wish we would have spent more time in the present day, like the scene you mentioned of, like, them sharing the cigarette, them making those making the plan to split the money. Like, we could have gotten a lot more moments like that, I think.
Yeah, I do too. We definitely could have, when they had all those quick recesses, we definitely could have seen the two, at least Mickey and Zola, start to soften for each other and start to realize, hey, we both kind of went through a shit deal with him. Even when there was a quick moment in the bathroom when Zola breaks down crying after she talks about how Frankie, like, took over, like, lost her house. Yeah. There was that quick little bit, but we could have definitely had more of those, especially if we got rid of the school teacher.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad saying that, but she was boring. She didn't do anything. She got the lovely Frankie, and that's not interesting.
Yeah, it really wasn't. And she got the money in the end, too, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why
but only sort of.
Yeah. Like, honestly, we could have done without that, like, last little part and had essentially the same movie, you know?
Yeah.
But, okay, did you have anything else? Or?
No, that was it for me.
Okay, I guess we're ready for ratings?
Yep.
I guess I'll kick this one off.
Yep.
I gave this one a 2.5. I just wanted to like it more. I wanted a little more drama, a little more excitement in this one, but overall I think it was like a pretty good watch. Like, definitely the Zola and Mickey definitely had, like, very interesting kind of backstories in their relationship with Frankie Lyman, and also it was just good to, like, kind of hear his story a bit, even through this kind of lens. I hadn't really heard of him or his group, but again, like, I do enjoy these, like, musical kind of biographies and, like, getting snapshots into the time period. And now that we're, like, noticing some of the other faces in there, like, I think that definitely increased my enjoyment of this one. But overall, I don't know what my, like, problem with this one was, but it just, like, wasn't the movie for me, it seems, you know. I just wasn't that excited by this one, but it definitely wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah, I could see that. I gave this a 3 out of 5. Overall, I thought it was pretty engaging, at least for me, and the story and the framing of it was very solid. Granted, there were a little bit of funky bits with the court, and like you, I think I would have enjoyed more drama. But overall, I liked seeing the bits of Frankie that the girls got to see, and I thought they did a good job differentiating between the different eras of Frankie, from his like superstardom in the beginning to him battling with drugs and addiction to him kind of trying to make a comeback and kind of failing to the end when he just was like happy, content, being a normal guy out of the spotlight before it all crashes down really quickly. I thought they did a good job at differentiating that, and overall I had a pretty good time, especially with the music and everything.
Nice. All right, final question. Do you wish you saw this one sooner?
I'm going to give this one a soft no, just because I don't really have a reason to have seen it sooner. Not even in, like, the Black Catch-Up averse.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to give it a soft no.
Yeah, I'll give this one like a pretty regular no. Like, yeah, just no real reason to have seen this one earlier. Yeah, no real comment either. Like, just yeah, it wasn't my favorite.
No.
But yeah, not a bad movie though. All right, that was Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Yeah.
YouTube housekeeping: like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below. And we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye!
There's nothing street about this at all, you know?
I will say, some of the lip syncing only got me because I don't think the voices matched the people.
Oh,
maybe it was. Maybe I don't recognize what they should have looked like, but sometimes they were singing, and I was like, "That doesn't sound like that voice is coming out of you."
Yeah, I definitely got that too, and like I made a point not to say anything about it because I was watching a bootleg version, and it was like very out of sync for most of it, and so like I felt like that might have been part of it. Because, like, there was, like, the words coming out were not synced with, like, the lips moving at all. So, like, that made it even worse. But, yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. Definitely get that.
Yeah. This one was not bad. I like a good musical. This wasn't so much a musical as a movie with music in it.
Yeah.
And as much as I like the music, sometimes the songs went on a long time. And I was like, we don't have to listen to the whole song.
See, and that's also where I feel like there could have been more, like, courtroom scenes or more, like, present day scenes, you know? Like, there was a lot of just, like, him singing, him dancing, and I'm like,
especially because they didn't really have him sing different songs that often.
Yeah.
We definitely heard
I think, as far as I can tell, he was a one-hit wonder, it seems like, you know? Like, or not, maybe not fully a one-hit wonder, but it seems like he had that one hit and then left the band to go solo and kind of flopped, you know?
Yeah.